Hello children, today we will take up a new story that is about friendship, about true friendship. You know, friendship can be found everywhere, but true friendship is rare, it's a gem. So when you find it, keep it. This story is about Damon and Pythias, and this is a legendary story. It's a heroic story from 4th century BC. It's a Greek story, it's a Greek legend. Okay, we will see here the true friendship of Damon and Pythias. Now, these two friends were traveling to Syracuse. Okay, it's the name of a place in Egypt. So Damon and Pythias were two friends traveling to Syracuse. On the way, they stopped at an inn. Inn is a kind of hotel where you're provided with food, water, and shelter for some time. Where they heard about the tyrannical reign of King Dionysius. Okay, they were sitting at an inn where they heard about the reign of the rule of whom? The tyrannical king Dionysius. Tyrannical means cruel, brutal, angry, okay, oppressor, autocrat, or you can call it an authoritarian, who's dominant, who's a dictator, and doesn't allow free speech, doesn't allow free movement of people. It's like that. He has a control over people's lives. Yeah. When Pythias spoke out against tolerating such a king, he was talking about why to tolerate this kind of king. Why don't you just get him down the throne? And the others asked him to speak softly, as the king had spies everywhere. So spies are people who keep eyes on people, and they stealthily collect knowledge and they give it to their boss. Here, this tyrannical king Dionysius, he had spies everywhere. So people asked Pythias to speak softly, because the spies were roaming about, and anytime they would go to the king and tell him what he was talking about the king. But Pythias declared that he was not afraid, and Pythias told that he was not afraid he was not afraid of the king. When the two friends reached Syracuse, they were captured and brought before the king. And when they reached Syracuse, they both were arrested and they were dragged to the king. When the king demanded to know how they dared to criticize him, now the king asked the two men, Damon and Pythias, how dare you speak against me? How you make remark against me? How you dare to do that? Pythias declared himself to be a free man who could speak out against injustice. So Pythias told the king that he was a free man and he had the right to speak about injustice and that he wouldn't tolerate it. He also called the king a tyrant who was afraid of free speech, and he told the king that he was a tyrant, he was cruel, he was an oppressor, and that he was afraid of free speech. The king here, he didn't want to accept free speech. He didn't want the people to speak freely, live their lives freely, and he wanted to have a control over their lives. Okay, he was challenged by Pythias that he was afraid of free speech, that he couldn't tolerate free speech. Enraged, angry, okay, the king ordered Pythias' execution. And here the tyranny of the king, you see, the anger, the wrath of the king. He told that Pythias will be executed, and that was his order. However, he did grant Pythias one last wish, and he granted Pythias one last wish, that At this, Pythias asked to go back to his homeland and settle his affairs and say goodbye to his family. And this was Pythias' last wish, that he wanted to go back to his homeland, settle all his work, and bid farewell to his family. Damon then asked the king to imprison him as surety till Pythias returned. You see, now Damon risked his own life for Pythias. Imagine, would somebody do that in present day? Would you risk your life for your friend? Think about it. But here, Damon, he told the king that you better keep me in the prison till my friend returns. Dionysius was confident. The king was confident that Pythias would not return, and he laughed at Damon for being a fool and said that Damon would be executed if Pythias did not return within a month. And he told Damon that if your Pythias did not return in a month, you will be executed on his behalf. You will be killed. Here execution means a punishment to death. Okay, it is a punishment to death that used to be in olden days in history, and there used to be various kinds of execution, like beheading with a sword. Their head was slashed with a sword. Okay, that was beheading, and other was burning them alive, or their skin was pulled off. There were different kinds of execution. Okay, and each of them was brutal at their level, was scary, and it was really bad. It was worse at their levels. Each execution, there used to be execution in electric chair also. The convicted person who would be tied to a chair, and he would be wearing a helmet, and his hands would be tied to the chair, and then he will be given electric shock, and so he will be killed like that. Okay, that was a punishment, and this is called execution. So Pythias went back home, and he went back home to say farewells, and then he set out on his journey back. He went home, he said goodbyes to his family, and then he was returning back to Syracuse. Unfortunately, his ship was captured by pirates who threw all the passengers overboard, and Pythias had to swim to the shore. And there were pirates who captured the boat, and they threw all the people overboard, and because of this, Pythias had to swim to the shore. As he had no money to buy a horse with, he began to walk to Syracuse. Meanwhile, as the month was nearing its end, Dionysius could not understand how Damon could remain unperturbed. Here, unperturbed means unbothered. He was not worried. He was calm. He was poised. He was cool. And on the day of execution, Pythias had not returned, and Dionysius ordered Damon to be marched to the center of the square for execution. And since Pythias had not returned by that time, the tyrant king, ordered for the proceedings of Damon's execution. Damon remained calm. He was quiet. As the sun was about to be set, and the executioner was about to bring down the sword, the sun was about to be set, and the executioner was about to kill him. Pythias appeared disheveled and exhausted. He was untidy, his hair was untidy, his clothes were untidy, and he was exhausted, he was fatigued, he was worn out, he was very tired, and brought to a halt to the proceedings. And because of that, the proceedings of execution, the proceedings of killing of Damon was put to a halt. It was stopped. The king, amazed at Pythias' appearance, he was stunned at his appearance, was much impressed with the instance of friendship, and he had been the instance of friendship he had seen, and the two friends were set free. And he was stunned how their friendship was pure, how true, how pure their friendship was. And the two friends, Damon and Pythias were set free. Okay children, I hope you have learnt about true friendship from this story. So when you also find true friendship, please keep it. Okay, please do not betray your friends, do not fight with your friends. Sometimes some fights happen, it's just normal. Okay, but just chill and keep your friendship going on. Alright, this is it. Thank you children, have a great day.